All right. So, we got some major developments, it looks like, that are trying to happen. More of that on this upcoming episode of Basketball Street Beat. All right, welcome to Basketball Street Beat. I'm your host, John Behrens.
And I'm Joshua Perkins.
Oh, so it still looks like the Lakers are really trying to aggressively push this Anthony Davis trade.
Yeah, it said that the latest offer that was given to the Pelicans is the Lakers are willing to give up Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, and 2 draft picks.
Actually, I've heard most recent reports was that it was 8 players now.
8?
Yeah.
Oh, they're trying to give all the young players away.
Well, you know, they're trying to pair LeBron with like AD, and then maybe in next offseason lure someone like KD over there.
Or Kawhi, because Kawhi Leonard has mentioned that he does want to come to LA and play with LeBron.
But he's also talked about staying in Toronto. So
Kawhi's been setting it on fire out there in Toronto. So I mean, I wouldn't blame him. They're also trying to get Kyrie. I mean, Kyrie said that he will be entering the free. I mean, ask him in July if he's going to be a free agent. So
yeah,
he's either going to stay in Boston or he might go to LA.
Yeah, I just think looks like LA is trying to just build another super team again.
I mean, how else you going to beat the Warriors?
I know. Well, pick them apart in free agency.
True. I mean, because there's some Warriors players that are due for contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And the Warriors can't come up with the money. Because, I mean, Steve Kerr already talked about Boogie Cousins because Boogie's on a 1-year deal. At best, the Warriors are going to try and find a good trade for Boogie.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, LA might be a good landing spot for Boogie. Maybe. I mean, if you put Boogie with LeBron and AD, that's trouble right there already.
So here's the thing. Okay, so it seems like every deal that the Lakers put forth. I mean, the first one was just crap for AD. No, thank you. Do the Pelicans really want Ball?
I don't think anybody else in this league wants Ball.
Yeah, the Lakers keep pushing Ball.
I mean, Lonzo's dad, he even said if Lonzo gets traded to New Orleans, we're going to go ahead and spend the rest of the season and we're going to test free agency in the offseason. Like, Lonzo has no plans and he has no desire to go to New Orleans, which honestly, I don't blame him because New Orleans is kind of a bad market as far as the NBA is concerned, especially since Boogie had left and now AD wants to leave. And this will be the second star player that that New Orleans will lose. I mean, the first one was Chris Paul, during the Hornets days, and now Anthony Davis.
Well, I mean, New Orleans has, for whatever reason, has a history, it seems, of botching star players.
I mean, you look at guys like David West, Tyson Chandler during his prime, Chris Paul, Anthony Davis, J.R. Smith, because they had J.R. Smith for a period of time back when they were the Hornets.
Yeah, I know.
Chris Birdman Anderson during his young prime days, Dan Dickau.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, they didn't even try to re-sign Boogie Cousins, which Anthony Davis wanted them to do.
And another star they gave up was Baron Davis years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But recently, Baron Davis trashed the city of New Orleans in an interview. Talking about he'd rather take $120 million in Los Angeles than take $240 million in New Orleans.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the front office, especially seeing how just across the street is the New Orleans Saints, and they're doing pretty good right now.
Well, I mean, the thing is, both front offices are different. The only thing that's the same between the two is the owner.
Well, that and the GM.
No, GM is Mickey Loomis, the GM, and for the Saints, Dale Demps is GM for the Pelicans, I believe.
So who is Mickey Loomis?
Mickey Loomis, the GM.
Team president?
I thought he was a GM.
For the Pelicans?
No, for the Saints.
Yeah, he's the GM for the Saints, but he's also a part of the Pelicans front office.
I did not know that. The more you know every day, people.
Yeah, I remember back in 2012 after he was suspended for 8 games.
The bounty scandal.
The bounty scandal, and then not even a week. I don't think it was even a week after they announced his suspension that Tom Benson made him part of the Pelicans front office.
Well, I think that the thing is with Mickey Loomis, I think that he puts like more of his effort into what brings in more revenue. What has the higher market, the higher stakes, and that's the Saints. I mean, look at how the Saints have been doing the past couple of seasons. It's a Super Bowl caliber team, and you got a bunch of star power on that team. I mean,
well, it doesn't, great, but one of the things is, okay, why do you have a football GM running operations in a basketball organization? I mean, I understand why Benson did it back in 2012 because
this is when they first became the Pelicans, and
well, no, it was like because Mickey Loomis had been suspended for 8 games, so half a season, and then Sean Payton for the entire year, and they weren't supposed to have anything to do with football. But Roger Goodell has no control over basketball,
right?
All he could sit there and say was, well, be sure not to talk football.
Pretty much.
No, that hire initially was just so Tom Benson can probably sneak some under the table football discussions in the basketball front office.
Yeah.
But they held on to Mickey Loomis in the front office, and it was like, okay, he's a football guy. Why is he running basketball operations? I think he's like team president or something like that. But I don't know. To me, there's just a problem with the New Orleans front office.
I can agree on that. It's just, and here's my idea because the Pelicans front office has benched Anthony Davis for the time being, which you shouldn't do it. All right, here's the thing. I understand that he requested a trade, but I'm pretty sure that he still wants to go out there and be with his team. I'm pretty positive of that. So here's what you do. You let Anthony Davis play. You sit on it. Do not take any trade offers. Don't take any trade deals. Okay? What you're going to do is sit on it. The Pelicans have the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
They have the edge because who doesn't want the third best player in the league, Anthony Davis? Yes, I'm putting him high up there. Who doesn't want Anthony Davis? You have a stretch big who can dominate the paint, clean the boards. Not only that, he can score and he has range on him. The kid, he's all around one of the best in the league, all around, in every type of category. So who doesn't want him? People are willing to give up anything. The Lakers are willing to give up their whole young team for Anthony Davis. And Magic Johnson went public about that, I want to say. But here's my idea. I'm not going to sell Anthony Davis for a bunch of third-rate players. I would go ahead, sit on it, wait till the offseason, wait until the draft lottery, and see who lands the number 1 pick. Because most likely, 9 times out of 10, the number 1 pick is going to be Zion Williamson from Duke.
Mm-hmm.
And Zion Williamson is a guy that every team GM and every team president is drooling over. So, if I was the Pelicans, I'd wait until the draft lottery. Once they find out who has the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, if I was Dell Demps, I'd get on the phone with that team, whether it be the Knicks, the Cavaliers, or whoever. I would get on the phone with them and be like, hey, you want Anthony Davis? Sure. Okay. We'll give you Anthony Davis. But you might want to give us the number 1 pick.
Let's see, the problem with that is that Anthony Davis is said, one, he said he wants to play for the Lakers. 2, he's only given a short list of teams that he'd be willing to sign with long term.
And actually, his dad has went public and said that he doesn't want his son playing for the Celtics due to how badly they did Isaiah Thomas. I mean, come on. Isaiah Thomas' career took a downhill spiral once the Celtics let him go. Mm-hmm. Once they traded him, which, honestly, they shouldn't have traded Isaiah Thomas. But, I mean, that's a whole nother rant for a whole nother day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I could see them waiting. I understand why they will wait, but at the same time, you're only going to have so many teams that are going to be interested in actually really trading for them. And I don't see, unless it's the Knicks, I don't see, which is one of the teams that Davis said he'd be willing to sign with long term. I don't see how you can get that number one pick.
You say you don't see how they can get the number one pick?
I don't see how the Pelicans could end up trading for the number one pick. Yeah, I mean, unless it's on a team that Davis said, yeah, I'll sign with long term. I don't see how that's going to happen.
Well, the thing is, I mean, at the end of the day, basketball is a business. In some cases, you're not going to have a choice. Basketball is a business. So, I mean, wherever they put you, that's where they put you. Wherever they send you to, that's where they send you to, because your team got the best deal.
Right. So you have to look at it from a business perspective of other teams who aren't going to want a 1-year rental. Because you're going to have to give up a lot of assets, more than just the first round pick. That first round pick ain't going to do it. This is Anthony Davis. He still has another 5, 6, 7 years of pristine quality basketball left in him.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he's going to be a centerpiece of somebody's championship run.
Well, I mean, say if it's a trade between the Knicks and Anthony Davis, I will get the number one pick, and I will also try and get DeAndre Jordan and Dennis Smith Jr.
You're going to have to throw in multiple picks and a few players. It's just what the Pelicans need to do. Really and truly, they need to, screw players. They need to get as many picks out of this as they possibly can, because they've wasted their picks the last few years. Almost the entire Davis tenure has been wasted with these, trying to find other superstars to build around them, and then just kind of getting meh players to sit on the bench who are going to average about 2 to 5 points a game and another 3 rebounds, and pay them $5 million a year. Well, lo and behold, the Pelicans are now, they got no bench.
They don't.
So, yeah. No, this is probably going to drag on into the offseason, and it's going to be ugly.
And yeah, the Celtics, they're not going to deal Tatum for Davis, which I don't know why. I mean, Jason Tatum's a second-year player, and you got Anthony Davis, who's one of the best in the league. But, I mean, it's obvious that the Celtics are not trying to play fair. I mean, that's something that I've learned since they traded Isaiah Thomas. They're strictly business, and they have no intentions of, they have no intentions of bringing a knife to a knife fight. They have no intentions of playing fair. So, Celtics are pretty much out of it.
Yeah, I think even Davis has said he doesn't want to play for the Celtics. So, Okay. So what exactly else do we have going on in the NBA? To me, it's like this has just been a race of 6 teams. It's incredibly mediocre.
Well, James Harden is still scoring 30, 40 points a game.
Good for him. Great for him individually, but, the Rockets, they're just kind of meh. There's a lot of meh teams out there right now.
Bucks have been killing it.
The Bucks are one of the teams that are really putting it to people, and
Toronto is still has that fire. Even without Dwayne Casey as their head coach. I mean, getting Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green proved dividends for them. Mm-hmm. The Suns still garbage. The Kings are doing a little better. Actually, the Brooklyn Nets are doing a little better.
Speaking of the Suns, this is just the absolute craziest thing in my mind. So LeVar Ball has already come out and said that he doesn't want his son Lonzo playing for New Orleans.
Right.
But he goes, if his son is to be traded, which everybody knew, it's all his sons are going to play for the Lakers. That was I think that was something he declared at one point. But he come out, so he rather Lonzo be traded to the Suns than the Pelicans. I don't know if that was sarcasm or what.
I hope that was sarcasm. I mean, I can't believe Devin Booker signed that extension with the Suns. I mean, he is the Suns. Devin Booker's never going to win a title. He's never going to get to the playoffs unless he leaves Phoenix. Phoenix could try all they want, getting all these number one picks. It's not going to happen.
I mean, I won't say it's not going to happen. I mean, the Suns were title contenders at one point.
You're talking about back in the Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Shaquille O'Neal days?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. But that here's the thing. I don't think I was even in middle school yet.
No, that was back when Phoenix can, just outscore everyone, but not stop anyone from scoring.
Yeah, well, Phoenix, their hurdle back in those times were Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. That was their hurdle. That was everybody's hurdle.
Well, not just the Lakers, but the Mavericks too.
Yeah. Back when the Mavericks were on.
Because I remember it's like I'm gonna say 2006. It was like the Mavericks and the Suns met in the Western Conference Finals,
and that was around that time. Actually, Shaquille O'Neal was with the Heat at that time. I want to say
Shaquille O'Neal was with the Heat,
and the Heat had won the world title. That was Dwayne Wade's first NBA championship. Mm-hmm. D Wade was Finals MVP that year.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. That was when the Heat had beaten the Mavericks.
Yeah, Mavericks got out to 2-0 series lead and then lost 4 straight.
Yep.
Which was just kind of awkward because they were already planning their celebration parade.
Awkward. Well, the Mavericks, give it about a few years, they might be back. I mean, they just got Kristaps Porzingis. They already got Luka Doncic.
Yeah, and they'll have now whiskey in a wheelchair.
Dirk Nowitzki, he can still kind of go, kind of. But I mean, he is old. He's like in his 21st season, 20th.
Yeah, I know. I remember it was just the most bizarre thing when they announced at the start of the season when Nowitzki, Dirk Nowitzki, and Vince Carter were still playing, and they're the only 2 players in the league still playing who were
from their draft class.
No, who were drafted in the 90s period.
Oh,
yeah.
They're Iron Men.
There are only 2 players who were still playing in like 2 different centuries.
Good Lord.
Yeah, everyone else has since retired.
Those guys are old, everybody. They're old.
I want to say they both got drafted in 97, didn't they?
I think so.
Is it 96 or 97?
I think it was 97.
Yeah.
I think it was 97.
Yeah. So what 21, 22 years now?
Yeah.
Yep. That's just so ridiculous.
I still can't wrap my head around it.
Both Hall of Famers, though.
Oh, yeah, first ballot Hall of Famers, no doubt.
Yeah, well, they keep putting off their enshrinement, but
I mean, the quicker they retire, the quicker they'll be put into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's talk about the Rookie of the Year candidates. It's been actually, because, you have all these races and, all these, award, runnings are in the Vegas books, right?
Right.
Well, the Rookie of the Year for NBA has been taken off the Vegas books due to the simple fact that Luka Doncic is a 1-100 favorite to win Rookie of the Year. 1-100. Meaning you have to bet $100 to win $1. Meanwhile, guys like Trae Young and DeAndre Ayton are 25-1. Mm-hmm. But it's been taken off the books. Luka Doncic, he got it won by a long shot.
Well, who was also taken off the books recently because they were just almost a shoe-in for prestigious end of the season award.
Who?
Tagovailoa.
Talking for the Heisman?
Yeah.
And they ended up giving the Heisman to Kyler Murray.
I don't know.
Kyler Murray had his.
So I don't take it as a given.
Oh no! If you look at what's going on, how Luka has led the Dallas Mavericks, it is a given. It is a given. If you look at how well Luka has played for the Mavericks and the type of impact that he's made, and you got KP getting ready to come back out there. Come on now, come on.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it was a given that Tua was going to win the Heisman until conference championship weekend.
And I'm gonna say it again. I believe that Kyler Murray deserved that Heisman, just at how well he's played throughout the whole season. He never had problems with injury, and just with Kyler, his performances were very consistent, while Tua, he was affected by injury. So I mean.
All right. So, any predictions for late season playoff runs?
I do see OKC making a run in the playoffs this season. They look They look very poised this season.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Like, as far as making the playoffs go,
Playoffs.
Casey's pretty much in.
Yeah, Golden State, Denver, Portland, first four. I could say.
So the Clippers currently hold the number 8 spot by half a game over Sacramento, which is surprising. Lakers are two games out.
With LeBron coming back, I do see the Lakers making a push for the playoffs. LeBron is not going to end the season without getting into the playoffs. He's going to the playoffs. There's no doubt about that. I do see Sacramento probably taking a fall. Meanwhile, the Pelicans are third to last, which I do not see the Pelicans making a run at all for the playoffs. If you look at who's at the bottom of the barrel as far as the first 8.
Yeah, I mean, so the Pelicans on the fringe of being eliminated. Phoenix, there's no...
Phoenix, yeah, there is no coming back. They're like 27 and a half games out of first place. And they've lost their last 11 games straight.
I would cut it off at Dallas. They're just 4 games out of the 8th spot. So
around 4 games.
4 games out of the 8th spot.
Pelicans are 6 games out. So
technically they could make a run, but I'll say it not the way they've been playing. So
right.
Minnesota's kind of up and down all season.
But I do see that between the LA Clippers and all the way down to the Dallas Mavericks, there will be, pretty much a barnstorming fight between those teams for the last spot in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, Sacramento's been kind of a surprise with the late season surge.
They've won their past 3.
And also the Brooklyn Nets have had a late season surge. Although they've lost 3 in a row, but that was after they had won
Brooklyn's still in the top 8.
Yeah, Brooklyn is still in the top 8. But that's only after they had they had a stretch of games where they actually won 10 out of 12 or something like that.
I would say look for teams like Miami or Detroit to try and make a late season run forward.
Miami? Really?
I see a little potential in Miami. I see a little potential in their team. Team to watch for in the East that can be a dark horse, I would say. Well, first I would say Indiana might take a little fall. They lost Victor Oladipo pretty much for the rest of the season. A team that can possibly make a run for it late in the season would be Charlotte. They're young, they're hungry, and I feel that Charlotte, they've been progressing every season, and they're only getting better. It's only up from here for them.
Yeah. Didn't ever really think I would see Milwaukee at the top of the standings, though. That is a little
that is a surprise. Milwaukee is definitely a contender for the Eastern Conference, but they will have to. Would I have them beating Toronto in a 7-game series, or would I have them knocking off Boston in a 7-game series? Probably not. Milwaukee, there's a huge possibility they could probably end the season first seed, and they're going to make it all the way to the Eastern Conference semifinals or the Eastern Conference finals. But it's going to start getting real when they have to go against teams like Philly or Boston or Toronto to try and go into the finals. And I don't think they have enough firepower to knock off Toronto in a 7-game series or knock off Boston in a 7-game series. It's one thing to beat them in 1 game, but to do a whole 7-game series.
So even with home court.
With home court, I would give Milwaukee a chance. With home court,
because right now
they're 22-4 at home. So at home, I would give them a chance. But with teams like Toronto and Boston, I mean, you can definitely count on them going 7 games.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, the East actually looks, even though it's still arguably quite top heavy. Now that I think about it, yeah, I mean the East and the West are kind of there's usually a dominance by the West, but like I said, this whole season has just kind of been mediocre for a lot of teams.
Lots of teams. Very less than mediocre for teams like Chicago and Cleveland and New York. Poor Cleveland. I mean, even when LeBron first led the Cavaliers to the NBA Finals back when they lost to the Spurs, I want to say it was like 04?
07.
07?
Yeah. Exactly.
If you look at that team, if you took LeBron off that team, you would be looking at probably the worst team in the league. If you took LeBron off that team. You know, when LeBron led his team to the finals last season, if you would have taken him off that roster, you probably would be looking at a team that couldn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about that.
And to make matters worse, you know, you take Kyrie out. Now you're looking at one of the worst teams in the league. So
you are looking at one of the worst teams in the league. Just look at their record this year.
Oh man, Kevin Love has been having problems with injury. So they, and then they gave up Tyronn Lue. It's just now the Cavaliers are back at square one.
Yep, pretty much. But is that a big surprise?
No, they lost LeBron James. They lost Kyrie Irving. They lost J.R. Smith. They lost Iman Shumpert. Kevin Love can't stay healthy. They lost some cast members like Kyle Korver, Richard Jefferson. They still got Tristan Thompson. But he's more about, Kardashian business than basketball business. You laughing? I'm serious.
Yeah, no.
If there's any count, they got Colin Sexton from Alabama.
Yay!
I mean, but he's just a rookie, so the Cavaliers have more than enough time to build a franchise around him. Because I'm pretty sure they found their franchise player in Sexton. So if you want to ensure some future success, build a franchise around him. He's the type of player you need to build a franchise around him. You don't have to build anything around LeBron. LeBron is just going to take it himself and put it on his back. We've seen that in the past.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how things continue to develop. I quite honestly expect a lopsided playoffs.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if we get to the offseason with Anthony Davis still in New Orleans.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But this week was a lot better now that you're not half asleep.
Yeah, I've been working a lot and I haven't been getting a whole lot of sleep, but I'm good now.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I tell you, we work retail in there. We work retail until we can get this really kicked off, and my work schedule kind of has me kind of tired, but I'm good now. So
good to know. All right, that has been this episode of Basketball Street Beat. Thank you for listening. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I am John Behrens.
I'm Joshua Perkins.
And this is AI Sports signing out.